I really hope Mark Zuckerberg doesn't buy the UFC. There's some kind of rumors going around. I mean, first we hear that, oh, Mark Zuckerberg loves the UFC. He loves MMA. He trains all the time. Then they come out with this video showing him training and like, oh yeah, look, I like to freaking do UFC. I like to play like I'm a fighter. And it's like, then you know, we hear a rumor that Mark Zuckerberg rented out the Apex Center for the fights, and that fighters and reporters couldn't even go. Nobody could go because Mark Zuckerberg was there. And so then more rumors started swirling saying Mark Zuckerberg is going to possibly buy the UFC. And I really hope he doesn't, because they already have too much control over everything. It's like they want to control. When something's popular, especially something like the UFC, it's so popular, they want to be able to control it. Okay? Right now, the fighters kind of say whatever they want. They, you know, say things about Zuckerberg. They say things about politics, the president, you know, the government. You know, they're coming out and saying these things. And so I think the powers that be see that, and they're like, we can't have that. We can't have a different opinion out there other than our opinion. They want to control what you see, what you hear, everything that you ingest visually and auditorily. They want to be able to control. They want to have control over it. So if Zuckerberg is going, if he buys the UFC, then there's probably going to be all kinds of censorship. There's going to be stuff put in the contracts. You can't say this, you can't say that, you can't talk political, even outside of, you know, when you're fighting, when you're doing interviews, whatever, you can't talk about this stuff. So UFC is super popular. The fighters are super popular. People follow the fighters. People listen to the fighters and believe the fighters. And obviously they don't like that, because they want control. They want to be able to control what everybody says. Look at all the entertainment industry. Nobody, almost nearly nobody, comes out and says anything against the government, anything against the president, anything against, you know, and when they do, they get jumped all over. And they lose their careers. And they get blacklisted. Right now, they don't have that control over the UFC and the UFC's fighters, even though they are owned by Endeavor, William Morris Endeavor. They're owned by Hollywood. But I don't know. It's just a little scary, because that's the great thing about the UFC. These fighters could come out and, you know, say things, and it's really popular, and people can see a different side of the story besides the mainstream narrative. So, I don't know. I hope he doesn't buy it, because I like to hear differing opinions, especially when it's something coming from like one of the most popular organizations in the world. So, I don't want to see that go. And it just may, if these people who are all for censorship, who censor everything on their platforms, who censor anything that goes against what they say, if they get control, which obviously they want because they control everything else, and like the media, 5 companies or 3 companies own everything, nearly everything you watch, everything you hear, everything you see through advertisements and stuff like that. So hopefully he's not buying it. If he does, it's just going to be worse. It's going to be worse. And because they already control too much. They control nearly everything. Pretty soon, if we're not careful, they're going to control everything. They are going to control everything. So anyway, let me know what you guys think. Do you guys think Zuckerberg is going to buy the UFC? Think it's just a rumor? Like Dana White said, oh, it's just a rumor. It's just a rumor that he's renting out the Apex, and then he's the only one there with his wife and his friends or whatever. And then you have people like Jesse on Fire coming out and saying, oh, it's going to be so great if Mark Zuckerberg buys the UFC. Oh, it's going to be so great. Like, really, dude? We're going to get front row seats to all the fights. Imagine being in front row seats to all the UFC fights. That's not going to be for the average person. That's not going to be for your average person who's watching your video, dude. Like, it's not going to be you. I mean, it may be you because you're, kissing up to them, but you're not going to be able to get into the biggest parties, the best parties. It's not like, oh, yeah, you're invited to the Oscars. Everyone's invited to the Oscars. No. Oh, everyone's got front row seats to the UFC. No. That's not the way it's going to work. It's going to work exactly how it works right now. You got big money, you could be there. You got big money, you're willing to do, certain things, you could be there. But the average person is not going to be able to go. So he's over here getting everyone excited like every average person is just going to be able to go watch the UFC front row seats. That's not how it's going to be. I don't know why he's doing that. If he's just trying to, kiss up or what he's trying to do, but he's trying to get people excited for, meta takeover and this virtual reality thing that people are going to become addicted to. They already are with their phones, so it's like, it's going to be worse. I mean, I don't know if you saw that video. The mom took away her son's phone, and then she came home and the house was obliterated. Like, every flat screen was just smashed in. Like, all her work stuff was all tore up. The couch was cut up. The pictures were off the wall. Everything was broken in the house because his mom took away his phone. Now imagine being in virtual reality, which is cool. I think it's freaking cool, but I don't want to be a part of it because I'm sure it becomes very addictive. But anyway, let me know what you guys think. Thanks for watching. Take care. See you next time. Peace.